table and trying to put our points of view in also in a dialogue form, in addition to our activity. I mean, that's perhaps the style. So, and we make it very clear, it was not just painting the ship and running away. It was talking, communicating to the captain. Our own flagship Rainbow Warrior was in India then, and the captain of Rainbow Warrior did contact the captain of that APJ Abdul Kalam, whatever the name of the ship was, and we were also in touch with the port authorities of Ennore later on. So anyway, like I said, it's not relevant to this particular. I agree with you that sometimes many of these acts will generally put off people saying that, "हाँ ये लोग ऐसे करेंगे, उनसे क्या बात करना है?" But then we need to, like I said, efforts need to be made from both the NGO side as well as from the industry side to look at each other not suspiciously, but look at each other as possible partners in development. That's not happening, and it's from both sides. It's not just the NGOs; it's from the industry side. Many times the industry people have come to us and told us that, well, you act like safeguards or demigods of the earth. Why should we involve you in any of these discussions? And when such things happen, and then you continue to do what we think, or the industries continue to do what we think is unsustainable practice, then there's that, both of us go on a tangent. So we need to come together.
So, Mr. Srinivas, is it not essential that there is some sense of, and some of these acts could be very culture specific or society specific. In an Indian context, I mean, the way people may react to such kind of things may be very different than what happens elsewhere in the world. So, probably, to get moderation in terms of the working methods, I think you may be actually sometimes, I mean, I'm not saying all the times, working against the cause, because it may generate a sort of a anti-feeling within the. So the way we are very close to the corporate side and the industrial side, and the way the whole environmental lobby is looked upon is not as set of very responsible people. I mean, so this is something has to be done. I think. More than an activist, maybe one has to really create that kind of image where the sense of responsibility, the development-led responsibility really comes in.
I would like to quickly respond here. The same feeling is also from the NGOs, on the industry, that they are not responsible.
I do get that. I mean,
I mean, that's what I'm trying to say, that we need to build that trust.
Yes. So how do we really do that? And still we have not got an answer. And I'm not going to go away from here till the time we have something which is because I mean we have had so many forums, we have had so many talks, and I mean, nobody seems to be. I will request Mr. Ravi Chandra. He's vice chairman of Biposh, the shipyard skill group, and he's developed many projects and involved in many things, and I would like to share some of his experiences and at least give us a framework by which we can take it through.
Thank you, Ramesh. And it was very interesting listening to all of you here. And Greenpeace is certainly making this forum very interesting. But I should also compliment Greenpeace. I mean, it's not that they're against all projects. In one of our projects, they've also complimented us for a change, for being very environmentally friendly. And it's still there on their website after so many years. So I think you do good jobs also. It's not that. But taking a point from what Captain Saki did is, I think we should also look at some of the developed countries, what they're doing. It's very nice for them to have developed very fast, done all the things that they wanted to do, and then say, no, India, China should follow all these values, so that they can't develop very fast. Like, for example, if you look at Singapore, somebody was giving the example of Singapore, and Hong Kong, for example. They have all kind of coastal roads, they have all kind of coastal developments which are there, and which rightly, as Mr. Joseph said, that if you have a maritime city to be developed, you need to use the coast. I mean, you can't just say that I'm not going to use the coast, 500 meters from the coast, don't do any development, and you have this confusion about XTL, MTL, and this mangroves and stuff like that. And as Anil correctly said, I mean, human survival is also important. And if India doesn't develop, and China does the development irrespective of whether Greenpeace wants it to be done or not, I mean, they still go ahead and develop it. So finally what will be left is India not developing as fast as the rest of the countries are doing. So I think we need to take a, I mean, I'm not saying that environment is not important, environment is very important for a sustained and sustainable growth. But we should have a balance there, and
the key question is how to have that balance.
Yeah, I was coming to that. I mean,
yes.
As Mr. Joseph rightly said, that we have not even studied our coastline. We don't even know what really affects our coastline, what does it. Probably a government or with a consultative committee, including NGOs, Greenpeace and all, will probably do a proper study of the maritime. I mean, India has a very large coastline, almost 7,500 kilometers of coastline, and we are not using it. We have 7 million tons or 7 million TEUs of containers, which we think is big, which is not big at all. It's probably in 2020 we'll be handling 70 million TEUs of containers.
Yeah.
But where do we have the ports? We don't have the ports for that. I mean, where are we going to develop those ports? I mean, it's nice to say Pipavav, Mundra, but there are very small developments. You need much larger kind of developments which have to take place, and probably a consultative group, having people like you all in it, Greenpeace in that, involving the government, and saying that these are the spots which we think are the best places to develop ports in the country. IPA has done a lot of studies, but they are not very transparent about it. Nobody has come out with a statement saying that these are where the good ports are, these are where the potentials are. And we simply keep on harping on, mangroves and things like that, which probably can be replaced, and mangroves probably erode the coast a little bit, but you can have a replacement technology for that. You regrow mangrove elsewhere, or you put in barriers where the coast will not get eroded, which rightly somebody said that the amount of money that you save on these kind of delays that are taking place in the project can be used for redeploying them and conserving the environment also. So I think a consultative committee, which will have the industry, NGOs, Greenpeace and the government together, can identify locations and say that these locations are economically or environmentally friendly, please go ahead, develop this so that we can catch up with the rest of the world. And that would be my estimation.
What do you think, Captain Sagi? Because that's suppose we're working with Gujarat Maritime Board. There are maritime boards. There would be IPA representing the central ports, DG shipping. All of them, as we set up a committee or consultative group, we delineate zones which are environmentally sensitive, take them out. Let's say 7,500 kilometers of coastline, we say 5,000 kilometers cannot be touched because of different reasons. But at least 2,500 kilometers is available, and that's where we can have the development process. Because what happens very late and advanced stages of the project planning, one comes to know that things are not really feasible at that location, and that's too much time and effort. So do you think in the existing government framework, Joseph, and do you think it's really possible to delineate the coastline in saying that this is not possible and this is really possible, and we develop only on those things which are possible and create those, the whole industrialization pattern based on those places?
So I think that TCS report has identified some of the.
No, not from the sustainable angle, not from the.
No, but we can't have a port where there is no cargo going.
Yeah, so
the TCS report had studied the OD, the original description of the various types of cargoes, and they had identified the location.
That was only from.
Now, if it doesn't suit the environment, that would be a different story altogether. But the identification of the locations has been done.
No, but what Ramesh is saying is identification based on environment concerns, not based on commercial concerns.
Actually combine both of them.
If I may add one point, is that September 07 guidelines. It says at least for every project there is a committee which will suggest at least what should be the TOR, that is terms of reference, that should be covered in the EA study. At least that is one good point, because then at least there it should happen that once it is done as per that TOR, and if it is cleared by the MOEF, then further challenges should not be there at least. That should be
the NGOs and the Greenpeace should be out of
See,
that.
if required, NGOs also can get into MOEF committee or whatever, but that should be the ultimate this thing, and which cannot be questioned again and again. Now that TOR is a very good development. They say that there is a committee who will suggest, okay, if this is your project, the terms of reference which you should cover is like this in your EA study.